Hey friends, TUXX here. I've been a big supporter of Astell Kern for a long time now, promoting the products in a positive light, enjoying them quite a bit. But I will say that I have had a problem, and I've had some people requesting a follow-up to my video about the battery issue on my Astell Kern AK70. And this is a very unique problem. First off, let me say that I have dozens of DAP players who go back in my queue. You'll see this to be true. I've reviewed many of them on this channel. Many of them brand new unboxings, many of them first looks, follow-ups, all that good stuff. And I've never had any of them, zero of them, have this problem except for this particular AK70 from Astell Kern, okay? All my devices are kept in AC conditions. They are not left outside in the heat or anything weird. And this one, quite honestly, is one which I got. I did get this used, full disclosure, okay? And it was fine, for maybe a couple years, and then after a good portion of the time that I had it, basically it started doing this thing where the back of it started bubbling up, popping off, as you can see, from the battery expanding, okay? Out of all my years of having electronics, I've never really had this happen on any DAP ever. I think one time on a PSP, it started having a problem with the battery where it was doing something similar. So it's definitely a battery-related issue, and that's probably a third-party part that Astell Kern, buy from some other company. But anyway, so because of this being one of my favorite DAPs, and oh, let me show you, it does still work and everything too, which is very interesting. Now, I do want to mention that this is a fully functioning unit, despite the battery expanding, and I don't know if I want to say exploding, but definitely is causing the back to be unglued, and the back is literally popping off. As you can see, there's a good couple millimeter gap there because the battery is expanding, pushing the back cover off, okay? I'm sure this is something which has been happening in other electronics to other people, but at least for me, it's never happened to any of my DAPs I've ever had, including my Astell Kern Alpha, although maybe given time, maybe it will happen, who knows. But I will say that this is something which is a very unique problem that is really a vendor-related issue. It's not something that is controlled in my environment that caused this to happen, But I will say it still does work, though. It just looks really odd as hell. Let me just go ahead and show you here. So there's volume. We'll take this back here a little bit. Let's see here. Let's look at songs. Let's see what's in here. I don't have a lot of songs here. I got Guns N' Roses. We'll go ahead and just hit something here. We'll hit Don't Cry Original. You can see it's a little laggy, a little slow, but it is functioning. Okay, and here we go, and you can see here from the clock ticking, it is actually playing if I had headphones hooked up to it. I can control the volume going up, I can control the volume going down. Everything about this unit is a fully functioning unit, except for the fact that the battery is expanding. And if you go back to my previous video on this, it wasn't this pronounced either. So it is something which is increasing in time. And there's the back of it. You can see Astell Kern. And again, this is a AK70, okay? And so I wrote Astell Kern just on the blue, kind of thinking, can I buy a battery replacement? Obviously, the back's already open. It's not like it requires special prep or anything. The back's going to pop off here on its own very soon from the battery expanding like it is. And so I wrote them a letter. Let me read the letter to you, and you can kind of judge for yourself the response from them. In fact, basically, I wrote them, and I just told them the situation. I have an AK70. I love it very much. Love your products. Is there a way I can buy a battery, or can you send me a battery replacement for it? I will say the Sony PSP I had before where this happened, Sony sent me a replacement battery. And that was years and years and years ago, and so that's the type of situation that where, Sony took care of their customers, and we'll see what these guys do. But so far, they're not doing anything. In fact, so I wrote them a letter. Okay, so here's the response from my request for inquiry about can I buy a battery or can you just send me a battery, okay? Thank you for contacting Astell Kern. This is regarding your inquiry on the AK70. AK products are not user replaceable. Hence, spare parts will not be provided separately. If repair is requested, you'll need to send it to our RMA center. Kindly provide the following information for further understanding of the unit. What was the usual charging routine for the device? Directly off a wall outlet? Via USB adapter? What was the power outlet specification? Or via USB port on a computer or laptop? Has the unit ever been dropped? Damped? Device serial number, 15 digits in the bottom. Additionally, please provide proof of purchase receipt including country, store name, and the serial number for further check. If possible, please provide a picture for both for clarification, and we may advise further. Thanks, and best regards, the Astell Kern team. Now again, the time this happened with Sony, the one other time over the course of my whole life, this is when PSP first came out in the early 2005, somewhere in there. Basically, I had a battery, had a problem like that, and it was after some time. It was after several years, and Sony did not ask for me, like, what were the charging specifications of the wall outlet, you know, or like any of that. They didn't even ask for proof of purchase. I did send them a photo, you know, and in this case, Astell Kern can easily see the videos here. I did mention links to the channel and everything else, and so they could easily not just see a photo, but they could actually see video of the product even, you know. And Sony, in Sony's case, they just sent me a battery. Very nice of them, no charge, anything. And Astell Kern sent me a whole bunch of, like, almost every one of their little questions is like a disclaimer, so they can say, oh, no, you shouldn't plug it in the wall, or no, you shouldn't use this USB cord or this USB device, or you plugged in a USB off a laptop, or like, it's like they're trying to isolate any kind of reasons they can say that it wasn't their fault. You know, has it ever been dropped? Have it ever been damped? Like, you know, it's craziness. So if it had been dropped in a puddle of water or something, I would say that, but it hasn't been. It's been fine. It's been used, you know. It's something which has been thrown in backpacks, you know, gently thrown in backpacks, you know, same as been in my pocket before, that kind of thing. But there's really nothing like this, again, happening to any of my other DAPs, and I use them all the same way. I give loving care to all my DAPs. They're in an air-conditioned, controlled environment, a very safe environment, you know, and it's an environment which is a room which has, you know, all my electronics that are being charged and stored, you know. So it's not like a room which is going to be like a attic that gets real hot, or, you know, some damp old basement or something, you know, or some kind of weird, you know, jinky power supply or something. They're lovingly cared for. So this is very, very unusual. This would happen. So as much as I love my A&K Alpha, at this point, I have to say I'm going to feel a little let down as a consumer, quite honestly, you know. And if it would have just been a short letter that said, hey, we're really sorry, the AK70 is an older unit, you know, we don't provide support for it or anything like that, I could respect that more than giving me like 20 questions, all of which are leaning towards why they will not help me, you know, or why they don't want to replace the battery. The battery part doesn't seem that expensive. In fact, it looks like the type of thing which you can replace yourself, and it looks like maybe even on Amazon there might be some different options or online options to get a replacement battery, you know, which is probably what I'm going to have to do, because obviously they're not going to take care of me at this point, you know. Let's go ahead, and for the purpose of this video, I did want to show you, though, what happens. We're going to peel back the curtain here. This is obviously already coming off on its own, as you can see. It's basically the back of this is just glued. Okay, so we're just going to give this like a little gentle tug here. And you can see this just pops right off like that. A&K, if you're watching, yes, I did take the back off because it was already popping off on its own, you know. And there's the battery. So you can kind of see the battery here. I don't want to bend or break anything. You can see it honestly, it's just glue that's holding this stuff together. There's really nothing too special about the base of this unit. And you can see right there, see how poofy that is? See how that's like expanding? That's the problem, is that this battery has been growing in size, and that's been pushing this back plate off the glued back. It will not physically shut. Oh, see there, it just popped off. Trying to pop it on, teeter-totter it on. So anyway, guys, the back of it right there, okay? You can see there probably is like a little sensor to make sure the back is on. And here we will go ahead and take a look at the battery. It looks like there is a small receptacle plug right down there. And then it looks like the battery is probably glued in, unless it's like exploded to the point of causing problems. I probably should wear gloves. Yeah, no, this pops out like that. See, very simple. And you can see how poofy that battery is. Something is really wrong with that battery, okay? And the fact that Astell Kern's not, you know, either being upfront with me, just saying, hey guys, we're really sorry, you know, it's an older unit, we're not replacing batteries in that unit. But all those questions just, to me, feels like an insult, to be honest. But and then it just plugs in right down there. So if you can find a replacement for the battery, you could easily just put a new battery in here, plug it in there, push this back on. Maybe it looks like you don't even really need glue or anything. It just kind of sticks back in place, and be very easy for it to kind of work again. Because again, right now, even just booting this bad boy up, it works. You can see right there, it's working. We can advance song. It's so easy, not gonna have it in store. I'm not like the biggest Guns N' Roses fan, but so don't think that. But anyway, it just happens to be what's on here right now. Mr. Brownstone, you can see it's literally working, volume's working, everything about this unit is working. The problem is this battery, although functional, it's expanding, and that's a problem. And that's just a sign of a lack in quality, a lack in craftsmanship. And the problem is when you're buying an Astell Kern device, you're paying for that quality and that craftsmanship, and you really expect it under normal good conditions not to like blow up like some kind of Samsung Note 5 on a plane or something, or whatever that Note was that the battery was blowing up, you know, like that's really just not a good sign that, you know, the battery, there's some kind of fault with it when they originally made this one. And maybe this was just one weird fluke, but if you had an A&K device and your battery started doing this, let me know in the comments below, or just shoot me an email, tuxtoys@gmail.com. I would love to hear more about your Astell and Kern experience, good or bad, you know. And again, I have liked their products, I mean, in the past, but I have to say I feel really let down as a consumer, and I don't think I'm going to buy any more Astell and Kern unless this gets resolved, because I feel like if you're going to pay that premium price, you would hope they would try and take care of you and not send you some kind of crazy insult to your intelligence, okay? All right, friends, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.